today as we finally got to see every single team play in the playoffs as of last night. And obviously the game everybody's talking about between the Portland Trailblazers and the Los Angeles Lakers. What a game for the Trailblazers. I mean, they came out. Everybody had them high as an underdog. They came out. They didn't even play that well in the second half. But this is the thing, neither did the Lakers. And the Trailblazers ended up taking that game. So that was very exciting to see. Definitely the playoff series I'm the most hyped about. So it was great to see every team really get in and play as well as they did yesterday. But before I start for today's show, just want to let everybody know, go to betql.com, create an account, use my promo code Scalia, Scalia, and you'll be able to get 20% off and get the best sports betting data on the planet. That's right, I said it. It's a fact. So be sure to do that. 20% off. Use promo code Scalia, Scalia, and definitely get that 20% off that account. Also, as well, just want to mention to you guys, the free game for today is the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. That's going to be at 4 o'clock today. So definitely make sure to go to BetQL. Check it out. Got a bunch of stats right there for the free game of the day. It'll definitely help you out within your betting. And I'm definitely excited to see that game as well. Obviously, there's a lot of big-time players getting ready for that one. So like I said, guys, go to the website. Check it out. If you like it, if it works for you, guess what? Sign up for an account. Use the promo code. But like I said, we're talking about the Jazz and the Nuggets, so why not dive into the first segment that we always usually do. It is why him, Michael Porter Jr. over 1.5 3-point field goals. Now, obviously the big story for that game, besides Mitchell's big afternoon, was also Jamal Murray. He put up 31 points. But Michael Porter Jr. is his first playoff game ever. He put up a solid 13 points. He shot 7 3-point field goals, and he made 3 of them. So that's good. The volume is there for Michael Porter Jr. He had 13 points in total in that game. So not only is the value there for him as a 3-point shooter, but guess what? They trust this guy. Even though he's a rookie, he came in and played pretty well off the bench and obviously helped this team to that overtime win for the Denver Nuggets. So I like Michael Porter Jr. Obviously, you see, and the big thing for him, too, he played a solid 31 minutes. So with that being said, obviously he's going to be in the game a good amount of time. And like I said, outside of Jokic and Jamal Murray, maybe the third best scoring option that the team has. So that it's somebody that they want to focus on. Utah Jazz, obviously, still shorthanded with Mike Conley. I'll be talking about that later. But I like his line of 1.5 for sure. It's intriguing, and I think it's something that he can definitely accomplish within this game. So, Michael Porter Jr., over 1.5 3-point field goals, and so he should definitely, and I think that first playoff game definitely helped him knock off some of that rust for sure too. I think, for a lot of rookies, for sure, as we saw the Portland Trailblazers last night, a lot of young guys on that team. So I think in that first game, if they kind of help themselves find a way to come back in some sorts, and I think Michael Porter Jr. is definitely capable of that as well. So, like I said, just to remind you guys one more time, the free game is the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets. Really excited for that game. I think that the series could probably go to 6, probably in favor of the Nuggets. But if not, then, the Utah Jazz, that would be an interesting upset. But as we've seen before, the Portland Trailblazers were also able to accomplish that as well. So let's stay in nothing but the net. Going to switch it over to the one, the only, Donovan Mitchell. I was very shocked to see this line from him. Points, rebounds, assists line at 39.5. If you think about it, like I said before, look, Mike Conley's out. Obviously just had the birth of a kid. Great times for him. But Donovan Mitchell, look, he is the guy right now. You see he takes the ball up the court. He's pretty much point, strong guard. He finds a way to combine those positions together for the position he's in now with Mike Conley out. And I really like this line at 39.5. I mean, obviously the guy put up 57 points. I don't expect him to do that again. That's pretty high. That was a career high for Mitchell, who I think is a great, young, promising talent in this league. But like I said, 39.5, look, he's going to be around the ball. He's going to be the one dishing the assists out to Rudy Gobert, those alley-oops. And even he's still around the rim with rebounds and stuff. So I think those extra rebounds and assists can really help him go over this, along with a point total that I'm assuming he'll be able to take care of. Like I said, this is a guy that can shoot from the perimeter. He could drive to the rim. He could hit you in a number of different ways. He has a great mid-range jump shot game. And yeah, so I mean, I think Spida will definitely help come to the rescue for the Jazz. Big game for them. They got to tie up the series. They want to go down 2-0 by the time Mike Conley comes back. So I really like this line from Donovan Mitchell, 39.5. I'm going to go with the over on this one, and this was on DraftKings with minus 143 odds. Game going on right now between the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors. Was thinking about including a live bet or two, but I'm not totally sure because the Nets are actually up right now. They're winning the game. So that might be one you kind of want to stay away from. If you see the Nets winning right now, things would get a little funky. Unless, of course, you see Levert really start going on a run. He's a guy that you could always target. Right now, I'm going to try to stay away from the Raptors and the Nets. You know, that series between a heavyweight and, you know, a team in the Brooklyn Nets that is just fighting for their lives. Fighting very hard. They have earned a lot of respect from me, I do have to say. But I'm probably leaning more towards in a series like the Blazers and the Lakers, the Nuggets, and the Jazz. You know, teams are a little more evenly matched. It's kind of easier to predict what's going to happen between those. Staying with nothing but the net, though, and staying with the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets, DraftKings features a pretty cool player prop. To score more points, they put two players up, and it's pretty simple. Whoever scores more points between the two of them. And I thought this option was way too good to pass up. This is Rudy Gobert versus Jamal Murray. This is on DraftKings, minus 190 odds. And obviously, I am going to go with Jamal Murray here. He had 31 in that overtime win over the Utah Jazz. And Rudy Gobert, don't get me wrong, he could go off for some big points. But this is something that you guys have to also realize. He has struggled in these past games against the Nuggets. So a couple mental errors, the first game of the series, and even the double overtime game they played in the bubble before the playoffs started. He had an abysmal game. I mean, Mitchell literally single-handedly brought them back to bring it to overtime, to bring it to the second overtime. And I felt like Gobert, you know, I'm not sure if he could really match the intensity that Jamal Murray is bringing to the series right now. And think about it, too. He's back at full strength after being, you know, he had a couple of those games where he was getting back from the injury. As we saw in game one, he's back at full strength right now. There is no concerns about Jamal Murray's health whatsoever. So I definitely like him in that circumstance. And yeah, even if Gobert has a big game, his line is about, I mean, I think his ceiling's maybe 20 points against the Denver Nuggets. So take a look, you know, Jamal Murray, all he has to do is just hover around that or get over. That's if Gobert has the best game he possibly can have. So I like Jamal Murray in this circumstance. I think it's a pretty good lock to take. Minus 190, that's on DraftKings. So, guys, before we carry on to the next segment, just want to let everybody know one more time you are listening to Pick and Pop Player Props with Jimmy Scalia. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Hope you're ready for more NBA action going on. I'm totally excited. I can't wait to see more of these series go down to the wire. Like we saw the Trailblazers and the Lakers last night. Like I said, both teams didn't even play that well, but Dame time obviously came alive. And as we're looking on right now, the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors. Pretty good game right now. Toronto leads the series 1-0, and it looks like they have come back as the Nets are only scrapping on to a 2-point lead. They're up 33-31 in this game. I don't know how many people were thinking upset along those lines, but we'll see what the Brooklyn Nets have in game two. Obviously, the Brooklyn Nets without Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Promo code Scalia, Scalia. If you guys want to go to betql.com, make an account for yourselves. You get 20% off of the best sports betting data on the planet. An opportunity you don't want to miss. So next segment we're actually going to move on to is Bounce Back Ballers, and we're going to take it back to Monday's game between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. And as everybody knows, there was a ridiculous ejection of Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, he just shoved and stood up for his teammate, and then that led to him getting ejected from the game. It's his second technical. Totally was way over the line for him to get ejected. Kind of ruined the rest of the game, even though the Mavericks fought very hard. The Clippers ended up winning. That means they've beaten them 4 times on the year right now. Dallas has still not beaten them. But Porzingis gets ejected. Okay, game 1's over. Now game 2, I like Porzingis, the over 36.5 points, rebounds, assists. That's on FanDuel with odds of -115. And Kristaps Porzingis, big-time player. His line is usually within the 40s in this degree. So I'm not sure why FanDuel had this one so much lower. Obviously, Los Angeles are a great defensive team, but even as we saw within the game, Porzingis put Kawhi Leonard on skates in the second quarter. So, like we said, he's capable of getting those points. He can go off for 20 points easily. And actually, I think his range is probably between 23 and 28 points. Think about all the rebounds that guy gets. And then trickle in maybe just 2 or 3 assists. That's all you really need from him. But I really like this line a lot. Like I said, Porzingis, I always check out his line, usually in the 40s for this. 36.5, too good of a line to really pass up in this circumstance. And like I said, he's going to be looking to come back and bring the fire after getting ejected for pretty much no reason, and it's kind of ridiculous. Also, something I saw, his points and rebounds line was at 34.5. So you might as well take the 36.5 for points, rebounds, and assists. He's not a guy that's going to have a lot of assists in a game, but between 2 assists, I think the 36.5 is a little more comfortable of a line to bet on. So that's why I like Kristaps Porzingis for our bounce back baller segment right now. Moving on to the Celtics and Sixers series between them. First game came down to the wire, but Celtics did pull it out. Got to give them the credit where the credit is due. And this is a 76ers team, obviously, without Ben Simmons. That's something we're going to get to after this one. But first, we're going to attack Feeling Risky. Jayson Tatum to record a triple-double plus 9,000. And guess what? I'm going to jinx myself. I'm going to do it. Last 2 Feeling Riskies actually did work between Fred VanVleet against the Brooklyn Nets. And then, obviously, this one, we had, who was it? Oh, it was John Morant to get a triple-double against the Blazers. So that's 2. So hopefully maybe Jayson Tatum can find a way to etch his way into a triple-double. Why did I pick this one? I think he's the leader of the team right now. He's really taking over in that degree, and you want to just take a commanding 2-0 lead against this Sixers team that is kind of beaten down by injuries. Points and rebounds for Tatum are always decent as I look at his stats right now. Look, 32 points against them in the first game and 13 rebounds. The only big problem for Tatum is the assists. He only had 1 in that game. And the most assists he's had in the bubble is 8 against the Trailblazers on August 2nd. So, look, I mean, it's going to be tough for Tatum, but there's a reason why this is in the Feeling Risky category. I think if he could just find a way to help out his teammates, this is the thing. He's got shooters around him like Kemba Walker, like Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's coming off a huge game against the 76ers. So, like I said, I like the lines for these teams right now. And yeah, so pretty much it's just the assists. I think obviously he'll get over 10 points. Rebounds is something he has to focus on. And then the assists after that, that's going to be the tough one. But again, like I said, there's a reason why this isn't Feeling Risky. We only do crazy odds for this segment. One other guy to keep an eye on in this series is Josh Richardson of the Philadelphia 76ers. His line for points, rebounds, assists is at 19.5. I really like that one. Why? His last game, obviously game 1 against the Boston Celtics, he put up an 18-point performance. So that was something that I like to see a lot. And this is the thing. They are down Ben Simmons, okay? So they're looking for offensive production out of other guys. Obviously, you're going to get it from Embiid, going to get it from Tobias Harris. Horford, too, can provide some shots for you. But Richardson is kind of that young guy that could really provide a spark in a circumstance. Like I said, 18 points just in total for the last game. You look at his points, rebounds, and assists. The line is at 19.5. So pretty good circumstances to work with. I like the over for sure. And yeah, like I said, look, this team doesn't have Ben Simmons right now. So they're looking for other guys to contribute in these roles. Embiid can't do every single heavy lifting, offensive possession that this team needs right now. They're going to have to rely on Richardson. And I think even the few rebounds and assists can help bring him over. He had about 3-2 respectively in those categories. But like I said, 19.5. This guy could possibly get 20 points in a game, just points. But the rebounds and the assists, those are the perfect assurance for this line. That's why I really like Josh Richardson's line of 19.5 in this game. So that'll bring us to the last segment now. It features a guy in the Los Angeles Clippers a lot of people know. Patrick Beverley, I'm sorry. He's a great stingy defensive player. Don't mean to do this to him, but hey, he is falling in the under the backboard category right now. So Beverley, under 14.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I know today I attacked this one a lot, and here's why. I just don't think Beverley, as a point guard, as a starting point guard for the team, he really doesn't handle the ball that much. You think about it, you got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Those guys are obviously going to get their touches and be able to dribble up and down the court when they call for the ball. Like I said, this one's on DraftKings, minus 120 odds if you want to throw it in a parlay. But I just don't think he handles the ball enough to warrant the offensive production for the team. I mean, last game, Patrick Beverley only put up 8 points. He helped out with rebounds. He only had 1 assist. So if this was last week, he would have just hit 14. So I do like this line. Beverly's not that much of a scorer. Obviously his presence on the team is mainly for defense, to get those stops, to really get in people's heads. And I think the rebounds could end up being a non-factor for him. The fact that he had 5 last game, ball's just coming towards him, not something you really want to put money on and bet on in this circumstance. Lou Williams is the true point guard scorer of the team, I would say. He's a guy that a lot of people look to in situations to score when it's not Leonard or Paul George in these circumstances. So, like I said, Patrick Beverley, although he's a starting point guard, and although there's a low line, I'm actually going to take the under on this one. Somebody else takes over in this game, and he could fade out very quickly. Also, picked up a lot of fouls early on in game 1, so that's more time he's going to be on the bench. They don't want him to foul out that early. So Patrick Beverley, again, don't know even how much he's going to be in the game, what can happen with him. You never know him. He could say something crazy and get thrown out, and then the whole bet's out the window. So, again, going to go with the under on Patrick Beverley here. Single-digit points. Can he make up for it with assists when Kawhi is handling the ball late in games? I don't think so. So with that being said, that will just about conclude the show today. Hope everybody is doing good. Hope everybody's excited to get to these game 2s of the NBA playoffs. Obviously, we got the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors right now. Raptors now trailing down 3. After that, got the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets. Good situation for them. Sixers and the Boston Celtics, and of course the last game of the night, the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Clippers. So I'm excited for all this action, and I'll definitely see you guys tomorrow with some more picks. Hope you guys enjoyed this show today. And one more time, if you didn't hear it, the first 2, the free game today is the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. So that's something you definitely want to go on betql.com. Check it out. Bunch of good stats right there to bet off of. Get your bets in before 4 o'clock today. Got an hour and a half, so hurry. The clock is ticking. Also, just want to let you guys know, promo code Scalia, SCALIA, to get 20% off a BetQL account. So, hope you guys are having a great day today. Hope you guys enjoy the NBA playoffs. as well. I'm going to be enjoying it as well. I'm going to sit down and watch the rest of this Nets game as they're still leading by 3. So like I said, hope the player props work out for everybody, and enjoy the rest of the NBA playoffs today. Take care, everybody.